Hello, 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 hello. Wherever you happen to be located on this mysterious planet we little humans call Earth, wherever you are located, I hope you are having a marvelous day, evening, or night, wherever you're located. Welcome to the Blender 3D application. But the topic I'm going to cover, it covers a topic that you can use in Maya, Cinema 4.3, 3ds Max, and a list that's running into eternity. I'm going to be talking about, from part A, making building windows. But I'm going to take it up a notch. You should have looked at part A, because part A get into it heavily of how to actually incorporate windows in a building. We see right here, I have 3 windows and they all identical. You see they're identical. But I'm going to use Blender to alter the color of the windows. And I'm choosing Blender for a particular reason, because most of us, or a lot of us, don't use nodes. So this tutorial is for a person who has at least a year's worth of experience with Blender. At least 1 year. If you have been using Blender for several months, you may not have an idea what nodes are. Now, I know originally I could have used a photo editor, a graphics editor, or an image manipulation program to change the color of the windows. But it's a flaw with that, because if I use GIMP, Photoshop, or one of the other mirrored photo editing software, the window coloring will be fixed. But if you use the nodes in Blender, as we can see, or as we will see, it's dynamic. So here are my windows, and let me see if I can bring up my buildings. Alt H. Okay, there go my building, see? Let me zoom around it, pan around it so you can see better. And I only have buildings. I don't like the way this one look. Let me move this one in some more. This windows. I'm just going to nudge it in some. It doesn't have to be perfect nudged in, because you know it's just a demonstration. It's not like I'm making an actual scene. Let me see how that look. Now I'm going to grab Y, nudge it out. Okay, okay. Grab Y. Grab Z. You know, just to make it look believable. Okay, so they look believable. But look at all the buildings. If I was making a city scene, this would look terrible. Even though the building is different heights, someone instantly can notice, hey, this is the same building. But one way of making them look distinct is changing the colors. Now, I'm going to use the photo edit. I'm going to use GIMP shader. Let me go to the shader right now. So here's the shader up at the top. Right here. And if you want to know how I made the buildings, for step 1, for somebody who just now came on, go look at part A. And I got an in-depth analysis of how I did it. But since I'm just taking it up a notch, showing you how to change the bedroom colors, I don't need to do all that stuff from scratch again. So let's go up into the shading. Click. Now, the thing I like about shading versus the compositor, if you know anything about the compositor affects the whole scene. It affects the whole scene. Shading just affects that particular node. And I'm going to give an example. Let me zoom in some. Yeah, so I can see my 3 windows right here. Let me zoom in some. I got to put into this. Yeah, I can see my 3 windows from the side. So far there's 3 nodes. But watch as I click on each node, you're going to see the position. Watch as I click on each window, you will see the position of the nodes change. So they all have their own specified instance in the Blender environment. I'm going to click on the first window. You see, look at that. The node change. The node setup change. It's still 3. I'm going to click on my second window. Look at that. the setup changed. I'm gonna click on my third window. You see the node configuration slightly changed again. So that's the beauty of using the shader. The shader, you can affect specific elements in your scene. The composite that affects the whole scene, as I learned. Now, so I want to change the color of each building. I'm going to change the building here on my far left. I have highlighted. So I want to click on that window right there. Now I use Shift D. Now I'm letting you all know now. I use Shift D a lot. When you use Shift D, it's basically using the same memory space in computer programming terminology. It's just a duplicate, but it's using the same parenting information. Alright, so I'm going to click on Add, or you can hit Shift A. I'm going to hit Shift A in this case. Shift A. Oops. Let me come in my window. Shift A. I want to go to the one that's called Converter. I'm going to use Color Ramp, but you can use any of these. And I'm going to drop it right in. Wham! Look at that. You see the building change to gray. So, I can change it. It changed to gray. And the thing I like about this, good people, see, I'm just showing you how to change the look of the windows. But you can manipulate other nodes to affect your windows. And the thing I like about what I'm using now, because I said, most people don't like using nodes, because when they do have a tutorial on nodes, the person have 20 or over 10 nodes on there. I'm just using one node at a time. And it's best to experiment. I'm just using the color ramp. That's all I'm using. One node. But we're using the shader. So I'm using the color ramp now. You see how, right there. And I can ignore all my other nodes and just pay attention to zooming in on the color ramp. That's all I need. I want to click on this plus to put something right in the middle. You see another specifier, a pointer put in the middle. I want to change the color of that pointer to, let's say, red. And you see, look at that. Now, whenever I knows red, now I can move these scales to adjust the intensity. You see that? The window is slightly changing. I can use this to adjust the intensity of my... So, if you use GIMP or something else, or Photoshop, you could not do this. It would be fixed. See, here in Blender, using this the shader or these nodes is far more dynamic. I want to make it look a little bit, yeah. I'll make it look a little bit more black. See, and look at that. Look at that. It's distinct. I mean, it's distinct. The building has a separate, unique look, and they look ugly. I made it intensely black, but it looks different. So, we're seeing the power of the shader in a simple version. I ain't giving you no 30 nodes. I'm going to click on my next one. You see the configuration change. But all I need to pay attention to is right in the middle part. I just had add, go to converter, add your color ramp, and I said you can experiment to manipulate the texture, but I'm just keeping it simple. I'm going to click on the plus and the color ramp. I want to change my color to a greenish color. And look at that. My window now is green. So I can give some variety or some life to my white. Not having much effect in it, is it? Oh, I got to put it over here. I can give my makeshift city some life, because I can make my buildings different colors. See, now it looks distinct, unique. I want to click here. I'm going to add converter section. I just want to use the color ramp. That's all I want to use. Color ramp. I want to hit the plus, and I want to give my color a bluish tone. And look at that. Blue. My window's more blue though. What happened if I move this black some? Oh, the black, that's not too good. Okay, good. I wanted the windows to turn. Okay. Okay, I like that. and see the windows stand out more than any of the other ones. But that's it, my good people. I ain't going to take up a lot of your time. And then I can go back to, because I'm in a shader, let me go back to the layout mode. And it's still hold up in layout mode. I wonder if I hit 0. Oh, I'm going to render it. Let's see how I look if I render this. No, well, I have to set up. I'll go up here to the report shading. That give me an idea how it looks. And there it is. See? So, like I said, my good people, I'm not going to hold you up by going over every little thing again. But we see right here, we can change the colors of our buildings. And you know I just have 3, but you know if you have a decent city, you'll probably have 10 buildings in there. 10 buildings. You may have 2 of the 10 have the same window configuration. So you have 5 different windows. You have 5 sets of 2 windows. And all you got to do to make the building look different is just slightly change the color. And you don't have to make no large color adjustments. But I just went overboard by changing it to red, green, and blue. Just to add some pizzazz to it. But you can just make subtle changes. But thank you for stopping by. So now you know how to at least change the color of your building face. As I stated earlier, you can experiment with those other nodes to make the buildings even more distinct. I just wanted to just do the colors and just do this shading because I don't use shading that much. But now I will. Thank you for stopping by. And like I always love to say to people, if you're new to Blender, don't give up. As you see, I don't give up. And I'm an educator of over 20 years by trade. So you know I'm over 40. And I'm doing the 3D stuff. Over 40, it's a hobby for me. But I still love it. And I keep pushing forward. I said, as I love to say, everyone started off as a beginner. The accomplished artists that you see now were once completely new. They became advanced because they never stopped, and neither should you. Thank you for stopping by, dear family. Until the next time, Blender family, 3D family, peace.